With how I have everything set up right here, this is how I had to get to my desk now. Very simple. Right, so I think I'm at a point where I'm comfortable starting getting everything set up now. It's a lot later than I was hoping it would be, but let's just get this done ASAP. That's the goal here now. So, one of the very first things I do, obviously, as you know, I have the green screen to light everything up. But one of the very first things I like to do is not have all the Philips Hue lights on because it'll cast a shadow on the whiteboard, which you'll see eventually, or else if it's behind the green screen, it might cause some weird effects. So what I actually want to do is basically I want to have this and that on, but this off so that it doesn't show like a weird shadow and stuff like that right there. In fact, I actually had this off for a while, but now I think it might be fine to have these two on. So the way I like to control my Philips Hue lights is through an app called Hue Pro on my phone. So go to Hue Pro, that's how I control my Philips Hue lights anyway. And then what you do is, I personally go to the bulbs tab, and then this lamp right here is, actually this is the one that I want off. That's lamp 3, so all I really have to do is tap lamp 3, then it shuts right off. So the other two are on. So yeah, that's basically how I could do what I want. So yeah, that's basically the first step. Now, what I normally do next is not exactly what I'm doing here, but with the filming equipment I have, it kind of makes sense to do it in this order. So what I'm going to do next is set up the tripod for the whiteboard camera, which is right here. It's a tripod I've been using for a majority of this video so far. So let's just get that set up real quickly. Like, just kind of the tripod itself, not exactly the camera yet. So yeah. So right here, it comes out like that. This is a Magnus VT300, by the way. So I usually do it as tall as it'll let me. So that's the tripod. Then I usually put this up and kind of close. Pull this up, turn it a little bit. It kind of squeaks a little bit sometimes. So I'm not going to actually show you the process of aiming the whiteboard, but I just, actually I could show you this. So this is a Vivitar DVR 787 HD. This is the camera that I use for the whiteboard. So just grab this, line it up with the screw thing, and then using the back of it, screw it on, and put it on. There we go. So then I just I'll show you the cable in a little bit, but that's all I'm going to do with this part for now. Next thing I'm going to do is hook up the audio cable that I normally connect my microphone to. So it's a little bit complicated. So it's this really long cable right here. I can just plug this into my microphone, or I can plug my microphone right here, then I can wear it, and then I can go like virtually anywhere around this room and still go through the microphone. Right now I'm doing it wirelessly, but normally I'll do it over wired so I don't have to worry about editing this in later, and it works really well. But the problem is if I do it on the front, actually let me explain this first. So what we have here is a 3.5 millimeter male to 5.25 female. Then we got 5.25 male to on this long cable to 3.5 millimeter female. So you just hook this in, and then you got essentially a really long cable and I usually plug this into the back microphone 3.5 millimeter port instead of the front, because if it's in the front, if just a little bit of finicky stuff happens, it'll cause this weird audio clipping, which sounds horrible. But if I put it in the back, it's a lot more stable and it almost never happens. I don't know, let me know if you've ever noticed it happen. So yeah, so I'm gonna hook this up now. I'm not even gonna bother showing you the process because it's kind of a pain to show you how to film what's behind there and just doing all that. So I'm just gonna hook this up real quickly. So one of the best ways I found for me to actually hook this up is, of course, make sure this is tight first of all. And my computer's on this side, so I feed this cable through here, feed it down so that it goes, sorry about the audio, so it goes to the back of my desk. But I give it some slack, and I'm gonna check the back just to see that's about the right length, the right amount of slack and stuff like that. So then I'm left with this. And I usually use a book to hold it down. In fact, I'll grab it real quickly. So I usually use really any book. I hold the cord down so that it's not going anywhere and risks that weird audio clipping stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna hook that up, and then also I have a long cable that I normally swap out. I have a long cable that I normally use, and I bind it up in a certain way in my desk, which works really well. But I swap what I normally use for that long cable with this during my videos. This is basically a shorter one with that Micro B standard. And so I'm going to do that. So I actually, to be honest with you, I already did this because I was using that camera earlier when I was showing the lights. But yeah, I'm going to put this cable in so I could use it with my neck loop and stuff like that for headphones and stuff like that. So I'm going to also put this cable in, and then I'm also going to put my power strip in. So normally I go to the other side of my room, grab the power strip, and then actually, you know what? I'm already using the power strip for this camera right now because I don't have an extension cord in handy, so this works. Oh, it's not even turned on right now, so this is battery powered, but that's what I normally use. So I'm gonna do that stuff with the cabling, then I'll show you what goes on with the power strip. Actually, right now I'm gonna get out the stuff that I need from the closet before going any further. So one of the main things I need, green screen. Now this is a portable green screen, but I of course have one of those professional ones that are like a lot bigger too for more space, but that's down in the basement, and I think for this purpose it makes more sense to use the portable one, especially since it's got a lot less wrinkles. So green screen. Next, camera, the camcorder. However, that's what's being used right here. So yeah, here's the box, and then in there I have an AV cable, so I could use my capture card directly with OBS using that thing. But yeah, and then here's that cable, and yeah, I think that's it for this. Next, whiteboard, so that I can write on it like I usually do. Next, my makeshift phone tripod. Now what this actually is basic. This is actually meant for the iPad originally because these stretch out. You could put the iPad here. However, it came with this clamp that I can screw right into here, and I could just put my phone right on it, and I can set this basically anywhere, or else use it like a selfie thing. But this is where I normally have my phone, because I use that for the actual webcam overlay thing, because it's like the best quality for that. I should also mention that the bottom goes on like a tripod thing. Like I'm actually using my green screen stand for this because I'm using what I normally use for the whiteboard right now. This can screw on to that stand, and when I was using my phone earlier to film, and also that Vivitar camera to do the lights, I used this thing. and I had to open this up so it fit and stuff like that. Next, I would grab the Vivitar camera, which is what I normally use, but with the behind the scenes, I kind of want to show an overall view of everything, so I'm going to be using my other identical Vivitar camera for that. That one over there and this one here. So basically this is where I grabbed the Vivitar, but really this one for behind the scenes. Next, my portable battery charger box, because I store some extra markers in here just in case my marker goes out. I got some extras then. Next, a towel. And I've actually used this one for several years because I like to, if there's a bug, I like to be able to kill it with this thing. And it makes it a lot easier because I can throw it because I have a baseball arm, as you could imagine. So, like for example, if there's a bug right here, for example, then like right above that baseball picture thing, I have my towel right here. I could just have a pretty good chance of getting it just by doing that. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I have that towel, but I also use it to erase with the whiteboard, so that's also convenient. Next thing would of course be my tripods, but I already have it out for this video of course, so that's already good. The other one, the one that this is on right now, I can't remember what kind it is, but the other one's a Magnus VT300. I don't know if I mentioned that yet. And if I'm not mistaken, last but not least is this little wrap thing. So this is basically lamination wrap that would have gotten thrown away, but I decided to keep it. Now I use it as a long pointer for the whiteboard, so that this basically comes out just like this. So yeah, this is decently long, right? So that I can be at my computer desk, but also be able to point over at the whiteboard from here, which I'm touching right now, by the way. So if you ever see me use that before, I should probably use it more, but that's essentially what this is. So I can be here pointing at the whiteboard. So yeah. Okay, so now that I got the power strip hooked up to the wall and stuff, I usually keep it in the off position for the start. I have that hooked up, so now it makes sense to hook things up to there. So this, I usually have my monitor plugged into this port because I'm out of like outlets and stuff like that, so my options are limited in terms of that. But this is my monitor cord, believe it or not. So my left monitor is not on right now, so plug that in. And by the way, just I have that up desk, as you very well know, so just to make sure that there's no issue with this metal touching that metal, I have a separator like old Carmex to put it in between the pieces of metal, just to make sure. I actually did that while I was plugged in but off, just to make sure that it wouldn't cause a problem, just to physically separate it. Oh yeah, I'll show kind of what it looks like right where it is. So yeah, so that's the power strip, of course. So there's the Carmex separating both of them, as you can see. So yeah. So then I also need to plug you in because I use you later on. So I normally plug you in right here. You're plugged in, but you're not in effect yet because, so just make sure the metal's separated on. So now you are getting power, it looks like. And my left monitor's back on too, so that's also cool. So yeah, and then I plug in my two lamps that I use. But before I do that, I'm going to quickly set up the cable, the whiteboard camera cable, since I'm pretty sure I'm done being in the back of my computer. Okay, so I apologize about this view being very limited because I don't have tilt on this tripod that's over there right now. So I'm going to show you how I actually get a cord that's long enough to reach all the way over. So basically, I have, this is an adapter thing that came with my Steam Link, and it's basically This is that newer Micro B standard that works with like my phone, for example, right there. It's not Type C yet, and then that's Type A, so I can use it as an extension cable. I should mention that I sometimes get wireless interference with my keyboard and mouse, like if with all the cabling I have back there. It used to be the wireless router, which made it really bad, but it still kind of happens with the cabling. So I actually use that. I use a long cable that I actually have right here where I normally hook up my phone to for these videos. I hook that up to here, and then put my wireless mouse and receiver in here, which now that I think about it, that's not even hooked up to my computer. And then I just put it in here, and it works so much better. But right now I'm using it as kind of an extension cable. And this is the old Micro B cable that I can hook up to the actual camera itself. So I'm going to do that real quickly. Fortunately, it streams directly to the computer over USB, so that's pretty awesome because I don't even need like an HDMI thing. So yeah, so then plug this into here. And fortunately with my portable battery charger, I have a slightly shorter cable, which is enough to reach my computer from all the way over there. So plug this end into here and the other end into my computer. So I'm going to have to do something about my receiver, which I temporarily took out. So now that camera is hooked up. Oh, it looks like I have my memory card in there yet. I'm going to be using it with the other Vivitar, but yeah. So now in terms of this wireless receiver for my keyboard and mouse, the Logitech MK520 combo, what I do instead is, with my capture card came this cable, but I found this one not to be as reliable as that one that I just showed you for the whiteboard camera. So for the purpose of this video, since I'm using that adapter, it does work well enough for this. So I plug this into here, and I plug it into the port that came with my card reader, which I was using for my webcam today. But then I put this here, and then I just set it on my desk, and that seems to do the trick. So I'm going to have it here for now. I'll fix that later. So one of the last things I like to do before actually putting my green screen up is to do a stress test with this cable, where I basically stretch it just to make sure it has none of the audio clipping. So as you can see right here, that's the audio level, and it's only on one side because I just do the left channel usually because I think it sounds better than doing both of them. And I can check the levels of that right here. So what I like to do is stretch this cable all the way over here and make sure it doesn't clip at all. So far so good. And sometimes I do that over here too. But that looks good, so we're good in terms of that. So now we're at the point where we should be putting the green screen up, I think. Yeah, actually, yeah, there's one more thing that we gotta do before that. So when I shine the lights on the green screen normally, this armrest casts a shadow, so I actually like to remove the armrest real quickly. So the way I can do that is I have this really nice Allen wrench set, and it's to remove the armrest thing, it's a 5mm set, which is this one. I promise I'm not sticking my middle finger up or anything like that. So then, I don't know if you can see the chair okay. I'll see if I can get a better angle. Okay, so hopefully that doesn't cause any problems tipping over because I haven't leaned up against something. So the 5mm Allen wrench, I usually start loosening it, and then I usually wait until I get them all loose before I start really unscrewing them. This one's hard to access because this stupid thing is in the way. So now that they're all loose, it's just a matter of getting them out and not losing them. So you don't want to accidentally lose the washer that's on here either, because otherwise it won't go in properly. So now it's just a matter of getting the other ones. There we go. And just like that, you got your armrest removed. So now we're gonna try putting the green screen up. Right, so I actually realized I forgot one more very important thing, and that's this. This is a capture card that I use for the camcorder for recording like me in front of the green screen where you can actually see the green screen itself. So yeah, this is very important for that to work with that cable I showed you earlier. Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to get the green screen put up. Okay, so this view probably isn't great. This is what you just came off of. So this is what I normally use for my green screen. So to prep it, you have this little thing that essentially covers up this screw thing right here. That I always just put it back on even though I don't know if it's necessary. And then this is what's actually on it by default. Normally studio green screens and stuff like that will use this. That's how all the stuff is put up generally. So you just screw that in. So I normally have it around this green screen area, and the height that's about right is this plus a little bit more. So it kind of goes into the closet sometimes just because of how I have it positioned and stuff like that. So this keyboard and mouse that was on my chair before, just get that out of the way. So instead of having the green screen vertical, I have it horizontal by using this chair right here to help support it. And then I also use this chair to, it can lean against the backrest of this chair and that helps support it real nicely. So I'm just gonna place it like so. Hopefully it's not really in the way. And that's about where it should be. You ready to see the satisfying moment of undoing or unclapping a green screen? Well, that's what we're gonna do here. So there's actually a really weird issue where the zipper got all bent up because I was being kind of aggressive trying to close it. Oh, this is gonna be hard to open actually. Might have tore into the fabric a little bit. I should have probably re-zipped it up when I did this. So here's what comes out. I know that doesn't look like the right color, but how about this? So yep, this is what I use in the videos all the time. So I gotta make sure it collapses out the correct way, like this. Get ready. Even though it seems like bending it could wrinkle it, it's still gonna be way better than the other one. And it always will be. So then just put it up like this. Oh, this is actually a little bit high actually. So I'm gonna lower this. Put this little end loop on it. I don't know if you can see it really well, but I'm holding on to it right now. I don't think this is how it was intended to be, but since I don't need to go all the way down to the bottom, it gives me a bit more range. Even though I'm not using this aspect ratio normally, this is kind of what I'm stuck with. By the way, I actually used to use the fan to hold it up in place, but now that I have it back here at a further distance, that's how I do that. Wow. Oh, I thought I had it down, but I didn't. What happens is I get it into just the right position, which is obviously not right there. Sometimes shoving it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe if I pull this up. I don't actually do it at this angle normally, but it might work. Now I'm gonna have to reposition this. Can we trust this? Maybe we can, I don't know. So this is right in front of my computer. This is at kind of a weird angle, but I think it's worth trying. Usually I have a little more distance than this, but I don't know. Oh yeah, one thing I'm forgetting is in order for the Vivitar camera to actually work with the computer, I have to go, so you see how that says mass storage? I have to tap this button on the top to make it say PC cam, and then OBS will recognize it. Let's actually try getting OBS to recognize the camera right now. So I have a scene called whiteboard and nothing's showing up because this is the right camera, but I have to go like that to make it actually register. So now it's showing up. So in order for me to be able to see the camera from all the way over at the whiteboard, I have another Carmex stick that I usually like to put back here. And then it'll be at an angle where I can see it on the other monitor. I'm gonna drag it. I'll temporarily tilt this just so that you can still see it because I'm not actually recording the other one at the moment. And I actually took the handle off. I took the handle off of the tripod just for your benefit, otherwise it would be sticking way out. So this is where I actually like to use my other book. So I usually set it like this. Then I can aim the whiteboard camera downwards a little bit. That actually looks pretty decent, I think. So of course the framing isn't by any means perfect, but it's gotta have some little Easter egg variation from time to time, or whatever you want to call it. Now to get my other cameras hooked up, I actually use my hamper cover as a platform to set that camera on, as well as my phone camera on that contraption thing that I was showing you before. So you can imagine that's right here with the phone on it, and then that camera is right over here. And that actually works pretty well. So the way I set that up is I put this monitor where it's supposed to be. And then this monitor I actually have to tilt a little bit like this, so I can actually make a platform. And it's just as stable as a webcam would be. I'm going to move that webcam and then set this on. I don't know if you can really see that too good. Oh yeah, I got this yet. So I don't know if you can see this too good, but yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. And I can just set the cameras right on there. So yeah. So now I'm going to bring you over there and essentially hook you up. All I'm really doing is, this is actually what I use for the case of this. So I'll show you what it looks like real quick, I guess. So it just goes right into USB, which is really nice. And then of course you got the usual RCA inputs. It works with the PlayStation and the Wii and all those old systems as well. I didn't originally plan for that, but it just so happens to. So it looks like, I don't know if you can see exactly what kind that is, but yeah. The other weird thing I want to mention is this cable. Normally yellow is used for video, but with this cable I have to hook up the red one into the yellow one, so that's how I hook it up. But anyway, now I'm going to bring you over to where I would and then hook this up, and yeah, we'll talk from there. Actually, I think it would make sense for me to hook up my phone camera first. So I only have 54% battery, which I don't know if that's going to be right, so I'm going to use my battery. I'm going to actually swap batteries. So to do that, I usually just take it apart. So now this is the LG G4 and its spare case and stuff. I have a Djibouti battery, which is really nice because I have multiple of these, and it comes with a charger, which I have just right over here. So I'm going to take this one out, let this one charge, because it actually drains faster than it charges, even while it's plugged into my computer. So I'm going to plug this in, and then put this in my phone, turn it on, and also put it back together. And I think I'm going to use my old case for now since it works better with that clamp. So I'm just putting it right back on, and I'll see you when I'm ready to start talking again. Right, so let me show you how I actually connected with my computer. So let's first of all make sure the whiteboard camera is working. Looks like it is, so that's good. So first thing I do is plug in the cable, which I have plugged right into the back of my computer conveniently. Just plug it in. Then I'll say, do you want to allow access? I don't know if you can actually see it do that, but click allow. Otherwise it won't work properly. So then I use a program called DroidCam, which you need the ADB drivers on your computer for it to work over USB, but I made a voice recording to talk about that. I'm not really going to get into that too much. Just look up ADB drivers for your phone and then whatever operating system you're installing it on, and hopefully you'll figure it out. Probably will. So then I open up DroidCam X. You could use the free version if you want, but I ended up getting the paid version. I even got it live on a voice recording, so listen to that if you're curious. So then on my computer, I open up DroidCam. So I usually just do video since the audio goes through my microphone anyways, so I don't even bother with audio. Plus it might save bandwidth, who knows. So I just click start. As long as the app is open on the phone, it should work. So now it's initializing. Oh, come on. No devices detected. Really? I'm gonna try to reload it. Try it again. Really? I think I'll just try reconnecting it over USB once. Not even get an allow. Let's press allow. See if that helps at all. It works most of the time, but sometimes it just refuses. I don't know why. I'm going to terminate it on both ends actually. And launch it back up on here and here. I don't know what causes that. I might actually try restarting my computer once, because then I can restart the daemon and maybe it'll work better this time. Okay, so I restarted my computer and my phone as well, and I finally got it working. Sometimes it does this, it did it last time, but not the times before that, I don't think. So, yeah, it works now. So here's what it looks like on the phone. So one thing I like to do is, see how it kind of looks like it's lagging or something? Yeah, there's a place where it works really smoothly, but what I like to do is turn on exposure lock. I found that it makes it work slightly smoother, because yeah, it looks kind of laggy on there. Maybe do it where the green screen is, and maybe that'll work best. Something dark maybe. I like to do it on something where I get this kind of smooth consistency. We'll try that once and see how it works. Oh, I just realized I may not have chosen the best shirt color for my recording, like with GameMaker Studio, for example. So anyway, then I'm going to stop the screen recording. I want to put my window down because I think the sun is messing up the exposure thing. There we go. I got exposure lock on what I want. So now I just get it on my thing just by putting this on. I don't know if you can really see that, but I also shut my screen off because, yeah, and tighten it once you get it on good. Then I can put it in place. So I'm actually a little bit out of place right now, but I gotta do what I can though. So I'm gonna I'm gonna hook you up in the way I explained before, then I'll probably see you over here on OBS. I'm gonna get you to show up on there and probably record via that. So I'll see you on that. Okay, so assuming that I was able to get this all editing to work properly, then now you're hooked up to the capture card thing at a lower resolution. So this is what it actually looks like right behind the green screen. So what I'm going to do at this point is get the lighting right, obviously. So first of all, I have a lamp that I normally use by my desk, but hopefully none of the audio clipped or anything like that. So yeah, I have this lamp right here. I'm gonna stack some books real quickly. So I normally stack the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, which I have all of them up until maybe a couple years ago right here. So I usually use this just to raise the level of the lamp. Okay, so I have no idea how I aim this. I'm gonna turn it on once. So as you can see, we got light coming in from one side, which is why I sometimes get a little lit up, because it's from the lamp and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if that's right. We'll find out later. So now I'm gonna go grab the other one. Okay, so same deal with the other one. I have it just kind of around here. So as you can see, now things are a little more even. Now sometimes the sun can mess up the lighting, so that programming thing that you saw on my wall, I use that to block it sometimes. It should work well enough for this. Oh wow. The Droid Cam camera looks pretty dark though. That's a problem. What happens if I shine the light? That lights me up, but then it casts a shadow and it doesn't really help with that overall. Wow. I screwed up the exposure. That's what it looks like. So I give it a bunch of range and then I figure out where it's working best. So maybe I'll shine more light right there. I don't know exactly what's best. I would like to use that other light that's facing me, but then it causes glare on the whiteboard. So I'm going to see how much the problem is present. Whoa, that's a big time problem. See how much that's building up? Can't have that. I'm just going to copy it to the second one so that we can see what it looks like without it doing that weird stuff. So clearly it's not being illuminated very well at all. It'd be nice if I could just shine it like that. Then it's right on me, which is kind of weird. You know, let's just change that exposure thing on Droid Cam. I'm actually going to try giving myself a little more height just to see if that makes any difference. And actually the green screen is not positioned how I want it to be. I'm going to move it back a little more. Whoa. That suddenly works way better. Holy crap. All I did was move it back a little bit. How is that supposed to fix this? Crazy. And actually, that's as much. I'm gonna use the cover from my capture card to raise myself just a little bit. Wow. At least I have quite a bit of height. I don't actually need to be raised that much. I legitimately never thought of putting my desk even higher. All of a sudden I have more headroom up here, which I was lacking before. And a lot of the grain that happens is actually from that, believe it or not. Oh, I suppose now that my lights are on it, maybe that helps a little too. Wow. Suddenly I have more range. I never had that before. Whoa. So how comfortable is this? So this goes all the way over here. That goes quite a ways too. So for me to see if the problem really is or isn't there, I'm going to do that other method. So I'm going to copy that paste it there. Delete the old one. As you can see in the right corner or whatever, it's a problem. So that means I gotta shrink it that way, because stuff shouldn't be building up like that. So then I go like this, and if stuff doesn't build up in the corners, that means I have a very reliable key. And if it's just very, very, very little, it's good enough for me. Well, the second lamp isn't even on it. The power strip tipped over. So far, no issues. That's good. I'm gonna shut it off just in case. So, left monitor shut off, but I just want to make sure I'm not risking touching things that shouldn't be. I think we're good. There. Now I just have to wait for the monitor to come back on. I kid you not, this is the best range I've ever gotten. Like, what are the chances that this demonstration would help me find that? So none of the corners are building up in undesirable. It's super faint. I don't think it's even noticeable. So here's what it actually looks like. It's not too bad how well I'm lit up. So that's good. Boy, I'm figuring out something new every time. That's awesome. The sun is out too, believe it or not, but it's hard to tell, isn't it? I'm gonna actually make sure that, and I use a Stream Deck, of course, and that cord is kind of short on me right now. I'm a little short on Stream Deck. Well, I'll show you myself now. Oh, that's wrong now. Maybe I need another Karmic stick. I legitimately never realized how much more height range I would get by doing this. Whoa, this is working well. The lights aren't shining on me too much either. This is probably the best setup I've had so far. I started out bad, and then it got decent, then it got worse, and now it's getting decent again, I think. We'll have to see. My Stream Deck is a little bit shorter this time. So if I go to... So that's the main screen. We're pretty sure that works good. Whiteboard, how's that working? Still good. Then, like that. I'm gonna have to copy and paste this again. Copy, paste, delete. That's faster. And then I usually make this bigger so I cover more of it. Oh yeah, then I minimize this. And you can't see the cursor because I use a glass brick. And there's two cursors if I have OBS capture the cursor. So I actually launched glass brick. Oh, come on. So I actually launched glass brick like this. So here's glass brick. As soon as I open it, you'll see there's the cursor. So yeah, I never thought of having the screen this high. I didn't think I'd get that much more height, but apparently I do. That's gonna actually that's solving a majority of my problems. So I open up glass brick, and I do control Win now, because when I did control shift, you saw what was happening last time. It moved the whole view as I was using it. So control Win will ensure none of that, and then track control, and press OK. Then I can zoom in. Yep. Nice. Then I usually only have one taskbar per monitor, so I just right click the taskbar settings, disable the all displays, and then drag this over to the other monitor. Just take my word that it's there now, because all that should be trailing is me. Let's see, I'm gonna add just a little bit more range to the right. Still not building up. So So that's as much range as we got today. Nice. So that's all set up. So I'm going to copy that Droidcam thing over to the whiteboard again and make this bigger. And then the whiteboard, I'm going to copy. I don't know if I changed the frame. I didn't actually change the framing at all this time. So that's good to go. The main screen, that's perfect. And then that's maximized. So, right. Then I got to hook up the microphone. I'm gonna actually hook up my handheld mic right now so that I can still talk while hooking up the microphone. Alright, so at this point I guess I'm just gonna hook up my mic and then I'm pretty much ready to go, assuming that I'm actually ready for the tutorial. So yeah, I mean, all I had to do is hook up this mic to that port right there. So I could just go like this. And then, as you can see, the cord runs along this way. And if I just walk like this, I barely have just enough clearance to be able to have it reach nicely. So, yeah, now the other mic is hooked up. And I guess I'll have you hear from that. Okay, so I guess at this point now I'm just going to make sure I'm ready to record in the first place. So, you know, with how late it's getting, I think I'm just going to kind of wing it at this point, like I kind of did last time, but I'm definitely going to do it this time. I personally believe that will be just fine. I mean, all I have to do is create a high score table system this time, and I kind of know how to do that. I'll correct anything that comes up on the spot, and maybe I'll gloss over explanations except things that are different. I'll actually explain the difference this time. So yeah, that's what I'll do for that. So let's make sure all the cameras are working real quickly before I start. So obviously this one's working. I recently decided to flip the screen around so I can actually see it like right there. And I also shut off the color filter just so I could see right. Plus I'm incredibly tired and I could use a little bit of energy, let's be honest here. So this works just fine. Oh yeah, and of course I'm using my Stream Deck. This is my main computer. Yep, that's my main computer right there. Whiteboard. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to, I changed the trimming a little bit, so I'm gonna have to copy that over. I'll do the same thing with my camera overlay, make it a little bigger. And honestly, there's a little bit of grain, but I'm gonna give myself a little more range just for that. But I was really trying to copy and paste the whiteboard camera, so then get rid of the old one. So I think that's correct. And of course my main screen, like you would expect. So yeah, this is working on the fly, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, what I need to do is grab my marker. And yeah, according to the mirror, it's working. Yep. Okay, so, and then, oh, the camera's gonna keep getting out of focus. But I'm not really gonna be on it too much. I'll do a reminder of what the high score table is, I guess, and then I'll real quickly whip it up from scratch and gloss over my explanations and stuff like that. I think that's what I'll do. By the way, I don't think I'm gonna have time to edit tonight. I'm gonna wait a couple days, I guess, and then I'm just gonna do this for tonight, and I want this to be like high quality. So I spent a while setting that up and all this crap up as well, as you could very well tell, which is why I do multiple videos in bulk. Doesn't actually normally take this long, but when I record myself doing this, that only adds time on. My positioning's a little bit awkward actually, like this is my positioning for this, and then for that, see if I go over too much it'll crop out, so I gotta remember to factor that in. I gotta make sure there's no stupid wood ticks on me this time. So yeah, that's good. So is that, like when I do that whiteboard thing, and that. So yeah, I mean that's pretty well lit, I would say. except of course in that top right corner, but whatever. So I'm gonna stop this recording and start a new one for the official one. Alright, put the marker here, and then I guess during this I'll show some like outlines that I think would be significant to watch from that perspective right there. So I think that's what I'll do. The green screen looks so much better on that camera, like that camera screen, than it does with the capture card and stuff like that. 60 frames per second too, and 1080p. So pretty awesome. I actually have a white window on my second monitor because that helps with lighting a little bit. Otherwise, this is what it looks like. That's kind of bad, but a way to fix it is to do that. And in case there's anything on the screen, I'm just gonna do a blank Notepad++ window this time, because sometimes it'll glass brick will glitch, and yeah. Anyway, we better get started because I want to do motocross ASAP. So let's get started here. I'm gonna stop recording. One other thing I think is worth mentioning is that keyboard and mouse adapter I was talking about. I'm gonna bring it up, and I'll have that book hold that in place too, just like that, if you can see it. So yeah, now I'm gonna start recording for real here. How's it going, guys? Joe here. In this video, we're gonna basically add our high score table system for this game. I'll put the code on GitHub in the you know what? We should probably put the code on GitHub right now. And I'm actually gonna put the final code on there. I'll put a placebo on there for right now. Like, it'll be the same for them. If they notice, it's a hidden Easter egg. So great. I'll just have this in handy as well. And I'm using my auto hotkey Win1 to minimize, and then Win Shift 1 to unminimize that. And then minimize Chrome, Win4 to unminimize Chrome. Very easy to access and do. So, by the way, how does this look when oh wow, almost no grain built up. That's better than it was when I was first testing it. That's cool. Yeah. Alright, let's get started now. So I'm gonna stop the recording and then start doing it for real. How's it going, guys? Joe here. In this video, we're gonna basically be doing the high score table system. So anyway, let's just get to it. .io. Spelled it wrong. Here's how you do it. So I'm just gonna kind of show an overview of the high score. So what we want to do first of all is, of course, we have our game window right there, and right in this region right here we're gonna have our high score table system. So like first place, second place, all the way up to 10th place, and there'll be names. Here's the thing, GameMaker does not actually have that built right into it. I really have no idea what mistake I made here. You are stupid phone. Oh no, I'm not in focus. Are you kidding me? I found the error, I guess, and now I'm gonna show them what it is. Right, so I made a very simple error. I should have said false right here instead of true. Because that was true, the get scores function never happened. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's it. So thanks for watching and have a good one. Peace. that went, actually, that could have went a little bit better, to be honest, but I made almost the same mistakes that I made during the thing itself. And by the way, it's getting pretty late. I want to get down to motocross, so I'm gonna call it a night actually, and just finish the rest in a couple days. So, fun fact: this is the last time you're gonna see me at 18. I will be 19 when I resume this. So, yeah, I'm actually gonna be 19 in about 6 hours. So, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. So, yeah, that's actually gonna be no, actually, this is all gonna be in one video, so I'm not gonna really do an outro. But for tonight, peace. Alright, here we are a couple days later. I really am 19 now, and I got my set all set up once again, as you can see. So yeah, it's a couple days later, and I actually made some changes to it. So as you can see right here, I changed where my lamps are, because I wasn't getting the greatest lighting. But then I got this idea to set up my lighting like this. Instead of stacking it on books like I used to, put it on the chair itself. That was a random idea that I got today. And then put this on the back of my hamper, and that should work pretty well, I think. Looks pretty good over here, I would say. And if you go to here, it actually gives me a lot more range now too, because you know how I always had to be really tight and then it would cut me off. Now it doesn't cut me off until I get all the way over here. And yes, it is reliable. The reason I know that is because if I go like this, normally stuff would build up. Sorry about the cursor doing that, but you see how I'm kind of ghosting right there? Well, there would be grain ghosting in the same way if lighting was a problem. It was doing that earlier, and as soon as I did this, now it's not even a problem over there. Not even a little bit. Like last time, even though it was a little bit of a problem, I ended up just going with it because, you know, it's not that noticeable in the dark, and I don't think it really was. I haven't edited yet once again, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, so I changed my lighting, and now I feel way better about this situation with lighting. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I also forgot to show you like how the Stream Deck works. So of course the Stream Deck is essentially a device that has multiple LED screens on it, and these are what the buttons look like. Here, I'll show you what the actual thing looks like. So I do have a camera left, believe it or not, my iPad. So if I were to open up the camera here, so now you should be seeing this is what my other computer screen looks like, and of course you can see that. Here's the actual Stream Deck itself. So it's got 15 buttons, and if you change something on here, like I'm going to drag this over to here, watch this. That also drags. By the way, this Wake Up, it's called Wake Up, and what it actually does is Wake Up essentially, sometimes I wear this neck loop, which I'm wearing right now, and sometimes it goes to sleep after 5 minutes if there's no sound within 5 minutes. So if I want to real quickly get a sound to come through, I press the Wake Up button. It essentially plays a tone that I'll play it. So it plays that tone to essentially wake it up, but it also mutes the desktop audio so that you can't hear it on the recording itself. So yeah, so if you see me press a button on my Stream Deck and nothing's really happening, it's probably because I'm waking up that device. I haven't really done it much lately, but that's what it's for. But yeah, you can program a whole bunch of different things. You could program a whole bunch of different things with it. Like, of course, you could create a folder, and I literally press buttons on here to switch the camera view. That's the whiteboard. This is me in front of the whiteboard. That's I'll show you actively what's going on. So yeah, what's actually well, that's not keying out the greatest. That's fine. So what's actually happening is this is the whiteboard with me on it, that's this button. Whiteboard alone is that button. Me on my main computer screen is this button. And then me just in front of the green screen is that button. And see the camera's right there. Me in front of the green screen is coming from that camera, which is what I mainly use. And then my webcam overlay in the corner is actually from that camera right, the phone camera right there, which I have connected with Droid Cam. I think I already showed you. Whiteboard camera, I just have it directly in OBS, which is right over here, of course. And I can do whatever I want in front of it. So yeah. So that's kind of what this setup allows me to do. And of course I have this long piece of paper thing right here. It's really a strap thing. That's so that I can stand right here and be able to point at it at the same time. So it allows me to do that. Like, I haven't done it much lately, but I think I will at least once today. So yeah. So that's of course my setup, and the Stream Deck actually works because, yeah, you just go to where it says OBS Studio, and then you can like drag a source on here, and yeah, so like the main overlay, I can switch between stuff by clicking on these buttons right here. And let's say I wanted to switch to this secondary right there. The way I would do that is on here, scene secondary, and the source on secondary would be, that's not, well, if I wanted to switch the scene, I would go to scene and then click secondary. So now if I press that, now you're seeing my, whoa, that's, the camera's way off. I could fix that just by going back to here, right clicking it, copy, and then back on secondary. I can actually press Control V and then delete the old one. Now I have the right overlay that I want. And that actually keys out amazingly well today. Probably because of how I changed my lighting. It's gonna hopefully be that much better from this point on. My hair isn't quite perfect, and maybe that could be fixed with my lights. I don't know. But also, eventually, I could probably figure out like a floodlight. I don't know, but I don't want to cast a shadow because that can also be a problem. That's why I kind of have my lights right behind me here. So yeah, then with the source, I turned off the screen. That's what that one button, the other, that's what this button does. It shuts off the screen because I told it to right here. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's like a keyboard, but it's got LCD screens, and you can customize it with this software. You don't have to tape printed keys on. So that's really nice. Yeah, that's how the Stream Deck works. So like when I show explosion, when I play the sound like this, the way that works is I have it toggle the source for the sound icon, which this is what it normally looks like. I could drag it around if I really wanted to. I could drag this around and it'll move over and stuff. And then let's shut that off. And then it actually plays the sound, but I added delay of about the timing of the sound, which is probably 1 second. And then I have it shut that sound icon off after that 1 second. So that's how I get the icon to show for as long as I want to without having to edit it in later. So, and honestly, I don't really need to be able to listen to it now that I think about it. So I didn't actually hear the explosion sound because I have my thing paused right now. I don't really need it, to be honest with you. So maybe when I play a game I'll enable it, but whatever. So that's a multi-action. It allows you to do multiple things. I drag the corresponding things like delay for the time, and yeah, soundboard for the sound and stuff like that. Of course, this is yeah, that's basically what's on my screen over here, except you can imagine what it would look like otherwise. So I can see my CPU usage, yep. And when I set a timer the other day, I just literally set that button right there. You can't really see it, but the timer is going off right now. I'll show you real quickly. So as you can see this, come on, yeah, see the timer going down? Yeah, that's essentially what's happening. And then of course what the matrix thing does is it literally does a matrix frame, which you saw at the beginning of the video when I had the thing on my computer as well. You can do all sorts of cool stuff like that. I can even control my Philips Hue lights, which I have on a specific, I have one light off and I'm not gonna touch it right now because otherwise it's gonna mess up how I have it, and I had to go back on my phone if I want to fix it. But yeah, I can make it all these different colors because it's Philips Hue and that's what it's able to do. And then yeah, I could turn my light on and off. That's gonna probably mess it up though. And I can quickly go to websites, like certain websites I programmed, like certain YouTube channels that I watch, if I want to quickly check the weather, brings me to the weather page, and all sorts of stuff like that. This is the Coding Trains Nature of Code when I was watching that playlist, my different emails and stuff like that. So it really allows you to do a lot. So it's pretty awesome. So I have different profiles, which you're seeing right here. I have dedicated profiles depending on what video I'm doing. So I like to have sprites, no, not sprites that I show. What did I used to have right here? And then sounds down here. Oh yeah, when I used to show images when I was pointing to something, I used this row typically for that. And yeah, you could switch between profiles and all sorts of cool stuff like that. This is a profile that we're going to later. Sorry, I have no idea what just happened. I'm experiencing a really weird glitch right now. My camera just disappeared out of the blue when I switched scenes like that. My Droid cam is gone now. I can't figure out why. That's weird. I've never had that happen before. I'm gonna have to hopefully get it back. I might have to restart this recording and maybe even OBS to get it back. The good news is I restarted OBS and here we are again. That's all it really took. So yeah, that's what I'm using, the green screen behind me to, of course, show that. I don't know if I showed you before that because I have a green screen filter. I am cropping just a little bit, but yeah, I shut off the green screen. All of a sudden you'll see the actual green screen right behind. I think it's amazing that it's able to do it on the spot like that. So yeah, that's how this is possible. I think I'm gonna record this last tutorial now, and I hope it's a quicker one than the last one because it took way longer than I thought it would for the high score thing. And I don't think I missed anything else besides that. There's gonna be stuff I'm gonna talk about during editing, of course, but that's this. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much ready to start. So I'm gonna begin now in a separate video just to make it easier for editing this down the line. I should also mention this doesn't work right in the front of the green screen either. So as you can see, it does weird stuff. So yeah, gonna take a quick drink. How's it going, guys? Joe here. I think what would make a lot of sense is to use, see how I have like the first one, second one, third one. We could consider each thing right here a slot. So like this is slot 1, that's slot 2, and that's slot 3. So the slot that we're on could of course be based on I. So we're going to create a variable to indicate what slot we're actually on. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to let me know. I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. Oh, actually, first we need to... That didn't work. Oh. Oh, I made a major mistake. When I coded the high score table, I'm also supposed to say and not global.loaded. That's a problem I didn't even know existed until recently. Have a good one. Peace. Right. So we got this done now. So now all we have to do at this point is edit the videos. So I think I'm going to take a quick break. Alright, so I'm going to show you how I fold up my green screen and put it away. Now I'm not going to show you how to put the rest of the stuff away because it's pretty self-explanatory. The whiteboard you just set back where it was and pretty much everything like that. And I actually, now that I put my light somewhere else, I don't remove my armrest anymore, so that's really nice. I had a lot of trouble with it last night. I had to like dismantle almost the whole chair and it was like midnight. I wanted to get to bed, so getting my chair reassembled was kind of a pain, but it's good. And now I don't have to actually remove the armrest anymore because it doesn't cast a shadow where I put the light now, so that's awesome. So anyway, before my other camera dies, we better hurry up. So the way I dismantle it is pretty simple. So I get this chair out of the way, as well as the green screen off of that hook thing, which I think you saw it already. It looks like this. I'm gonna make sure this isn't in my way. And then the way you fold up the green screen is like this. I usually face this way. I actually bump the fan. Then I put my hand, I don't know if you can really see that. I'll tilt it. My right hand is in this kind of position. My left hand's in that position. And then I turn to the right, like this. Hopefully you can see this. And then when it's down here, I twist. Ouch, my desk. There. Now it's all folded up. Then it's just a matter of putting it in this case, which is sometimes a pain. I've done this like 2 or 3 times since the beginning of this video because it took 3 days. And then I just zip it up. Or at least that's the goal. Sometimes I don't fold it right, so I have to redo it, but with practice it's becoming easier. There we go, it's now portable again, and I can carry it like this if I want. And then just really throw it right in here. And then everything else goes away like you would expect. And now let's go to the outro. That's going to be it for this tutorial, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to let me know. I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. Otherwise, yeah, I think that's it. So, thanks for watching, and if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go over there and just enjoy the fact that this video is finally over. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a good one. Peace.